country has the most Rastafarians? What country has the most Rastas? And I will give the answer later in this video.
Hi guys, it's good to see you once again. Hey, hold on. I guess you guys are really admiring my t-shirt. Yeah, Africa in my DNA. Anyway, let me know if you want a copy. I'll get one for you, okay? Just DM me or send me an email or on my Instagram. Okay, so I know you guys have heard a whole lot about Usher in Ghana, Global Citizen Festival. People are talking here and there.
Big shouts to Global Citizen. We have Sock Nation in the building tonight. Sock Nation, you're welcome to Sock Nation.
One thing that I want to share with you guys is that Usher was in my community, you know. Yes, I'm a proud Chocomania, you know. If you don't know about Choco, if you've not heard about Choco, I've done a video. I'll share the link in the description so that you get to watch and get to know what Choco is, you know. And that is where I'm coming from. That's why I was born and bred there. I've lived there so many years. But the funny thing is that when I tell people that I'm coming from Choco, they doubt, and I still can't understand. So let's move back to the story. So Usher was in Choco, and there is an NGO in Choco called Basic International. So Usher visited the place, toured the whole place, and also toured Choco. And this is what they posted on their Facebook. Yes, this happened. Like, people were doubting whether Usher came to Choco and all that. So they posted on their Facebook, and this is what she said. Yes, it happened. Usher spent time in Choco, learning about the community, the people, the problems, the culture, the beauty and the myth of Choco. Yes, I told you people have a whole lot of myths about Choco. He connected, and we are grateful and await his return because he will be back. Thank you. Yes, so Choco, you know, if you don't know, I have a channel, another channel that I promote Choco and people coming from Choco, and I'll put the link there. It is called Choco Youth TV. I'll put the link in the description. You can check that channel, and maybe you can also try your best to learn Ga, because, you know, Choco is part of the Ga community, and I'm in Ga. This is the good news I have for you from my community, and I'm so happy, I'm so glad.
Hold on, know that it's time to be strong. Let's all believe in the future. Together we can move on. Raise up your voice and be heard. Calling every generation, all over together. Whoa, whoa.
1000%. If you're out there looking for an opportunity to start a business that can make you real money, hey, this is my favorite business of all time. What's up, Plus? This is your boy JT Automations back in with another video. I'm here with two very special gentlemen here that they're going to talk to us about the transportation industry, but specifically how to make money with vehicles that are less than CDL vehicles. I know a lot of people that tune into me. You guys know me from the independent courier business, doing stuff with cargo vans and other vehicles, but these gentlemen have taken it way further than I ever even imagined taking it. So I want to give this game to you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, you guys. So first and foremost, do you mind introducing yourself to the audience and letting them know who you are?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm Chris Bright from Jacksonville, Florida. Stationed here in Jacksonville, Florida is where I work primarily out of. And like you said, you know, my specialty is last mile operations and pretty much day-to-day coordinating, you know, packages to be delivered throughout the city.
All right. What about you, sir?
All right, Shaq Thomas, man, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Just like Chris talked about, man, pretty much we run a carrier business together. We work side by side. On the flip side of that, pretty much, you know, a fleet man of a lot of trucks, between 30 and 50 trucks a day. So, yeah.
Oh, that's dope, man. So I want to start from the beginning, if y'all don't mind. So what made y'all get into this sort of business? Like, what made you interested in it? Like, were y'all already in transportation?
I was basically searching, you know, for something to get into, something to be, you know, the business that I pretty much used to help me push away from a 9-to-5. And the YouTube search pretty much, you know, led me across a YouTube video by you, you know, and it just opened my eyes up to having a courier business. Then I purchased your book. And I just really found that there was opportunity for me to start a transportation company and not necessarily start with a semi truck. So I wanted to just kind of take things into my own hand. You know, I don't have a CDL license, so I wanted to get into equipment that didn't require a CDL, but I could still, you know, find a market for it. And that's just when I stumbled upon Last Mile, you know, and just continue to go there, continue to grow and focus on that lane. And networking, you know, led me to build a relationship, and that's pretty much how, you know, I met Shaq, and me and Shaq were able to go into to business together.
All right, give me 1 second, Shaq, because Chris, you said this term several times, and just to make sure we all on the same page, and I got a South Carolina education, can you tell us what does last mile mean for somebody that may have never heard that term before?
Yeah, sure. So one beautiful thing that has transpired pretty much over the past few years is that e-commerce, which are basically electronic transactions. So anytime you purchase something online, you are participating in the e-commerce chain of you know, basically a supply and demand. So once those things happen, you know, these goods have to be shipped to the person that has ordered it. So the last mile essentially is that portion of the transportation process that starts after a person orders a good, you know, from transporting it from wherever its origin is, whether it be in Kansas or all the way in Japan, you know, that process of it getting to the doorstep, that's the last mile. And we specifically participate in the final portion of it, where goods are sorted at cross-docking facilities and then have to be distributed to residential neighborhoods. All
right, cool. Thank you for that. All right, so now it's on you, Shaq. What made you get into this sort of business?
So for me, man, my story a little different. I pretty much started out in the tractor-trailer side of the business, fleet management, and ran some trucks with my brother. And honestly, man, the opportunity just fell in my hand. You know, 3PL pretty much did some research on us, seeing what we was doing in the Atlanta area. And he said, you know, he gave me the opportunity, you know, to, you know, come move some freight for him in this building. So from there, you know, I mentioned it to Chris, and, you know, we was able to form a partnership, and it's been history ever since.
All right, that's dope, man. What would you gentlemen say in your experience for somebody that's watching this video and want to get into this business? What do the startup costs look like for somebody that wants to do what you guys are doing right now?
For me, from my experience, man, it can be anywhere from $0 to $10,000. It just it all depends on how you want to start out in the business. Whether it's a personal car, passenger car, or a cargo van. So, but most importantly, you want to look at your local market and just see what the market is asking for, and then from there you can make a decision.
All right. So I heard you say, Shaq, so I'm gonna just go a little deeper. You said that you can start with your personal car. If somebody out there that is interested in it, but they don't want to make a significant investment in a cargo van right away, would you say that they can make, decent money in a car, or would it be like a little side hustle money? Like, where you think is the ceiling for somebody that wants to test the waters with their own personal vehicle before they make the investment with a cargo van?
So using a personal vehicle, I'm gonna put the numbers anywhere between $600 and $1,000 a week.
Oh, with a personal vehicle?
That's good money. It's good money. You think about your fuel, you probably be out anywhere, maybe a $125, $175 a week in fuel. Everything else is profit.
Man, that's dope. Yeah, that's great money. That be Uber and Lyft most places. Yeah. Unless you in a major city. So yeah, that's great money to say they ain't even had to buy a cargo van yet. So now let's transition over into the van side of it. If you guys don't mind sharing with me, like, what would you say has been your best week, or not even a week? Most people bills are month to month. So what would you ballpark like your best month with a single cargo van then? And then versus the fleet, like whatever size fleet y'all running now.
So Shaq and I, we're in two different markets, right? Shaq is in the Atlanta market. I'm in the Jacksonville market. So we see different numbers, but they all still kind of all around the same ballpark. Now here in Jacksonville, I actually have had a vendor that got started with her car, and she was actually averaging about $175 to $200, a day, doing that 6. So she was a big earner, and she actually leveraged that to help her get vans. In regards to vans, on our best days during peak season height, when we are, pretty much doing 100 per day, in a van, we probably can see again around $350 to $400 in revenue a day. And honestly, the vans during peak season can run 7 days a week. So depending on the time of the year, really has an effect on it. But, we on average like to produce anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue with our vans.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. No, I'm feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to somebody, nothing else to do. Might as well go to the board and drop some brand.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. No, I'm feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to somebody, nothing else.
Your Excellency and the Right Honorable, I'm very much curious to know your hopes, especially looking at this visit, your hopes for relations between African Union and the Caribbean Community Market.
I think that we believe that the CARICOM Caribbean community is really the sixth region of the African Union. Our histories are intertwined. Our geography is separated simply by the Atlantic Ocean. And in fact, if you look at distance, it is closer to get from Dakar to Barbados than it is to go from Barbados to London. And that should tell you every reason why we need to ensure that the continent of Africa and the region of the Caribbean remain united. We have also been the victims of a colonial experience, and therefore many of the challenges that we face with respect to development are common. There was no settlement on the time of independence for any of us, and we've therefore had to deal with providing for our people in terms of education, health, housing, by building out our own development. And we believe that it is important that we can share experiences and that we can create opportunities for investment for our own people, rather than believing that all investment must come from the north. So I look forward to the African Union and the Caribbean community deepening its cooperation. This afternoon, I think we will open the honorary consulate of Rwanda. That is the first step. I hope that in the future, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who's accompanied me, will put pressure on me as Minister of Finance to do otherwise, and I look forward to that pressure in the near future. But suffice it to say that the fact that we are two countries who perhaps play a bigger role in each of our regions will also admit of us being able to make that movement between CARICOM and the Africa Union a greater reality sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sure. I think building on what the Prime Minister said about Caribbean being maybe another region part of our continent or together. What we have said all along and have agreed and are trying to do, we've reached a very important first step. The first step is to have this close relationship, starting with Rwanda and Barbados, and build from there through such a cooperation that we have outlined already, whether it is through farmer manufacturing or building air bridge between Rwanda, Africa, and the Caribbean, and with Barbados. Those are very important steps. We need to make more steps, and we want to do that faster. I think in the end, things are shaping up to bring both sides together.
What country has the most Rastafarians? What country has the most Rastas? And I will give the answer later in this video.
"250 years of slavery. Decades of Jim Crow, housing discrimination, and other forms of systemic racism. All of that has led to this: a shocking wealth gap between black and white households in the United States. An average gap of $850,000 that, some experts believe, can be solved by something long overdue: reparations to the descendants of enslaved black people. But how do we even determine who's eligible for reparations? And can the struggle for reparations in other parts of the world teach us anything about what needs to be done in the US? To understand why there's a call for reparations, there needs to be an understanding of the scale of slavery. It was a crime against humanity in which around 400,000 people were forcibly brought to North America. Over the centuries, 10 million enslaved people were legally treated as property in the United States, brutalized and ruthlessly exploited for free labor, which was used to establish the country as a leading global economy. In fact, one historian estimated that by 1860, enslaved people were, quote, worth some $3.5 billion, making them the largest single financial asset in the entire US economy. That's around $115 billion today. When slavery was abolished in 1865, 4 million formerly enslaved African Americans were freed. But through their forced labor, they'd created billions of dollars in generational wealth for their captors, and none for themselves. Back then, the US government understood the need for reparations and passed an order to distribute 40 acres and a mule to all formerly enslaved families so they could build wealth and financial security. However, after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, President Andrew Johnson vetoed the allocation and returned the land to former slave owners. One way to reckon with America's past and current wealth disparity is through reparations that close the racial wealth gap.
You should make direct monetary payments to the eligible recipients.
That's economist William Darity. He co-authored the book From Here to Equality: which outlines one of the most comprehensive plans for what material reparations could look like.
So we estimate that this would require an expenditure of approximately $350,000 per eligible recipient. You get a figure of approximately $14 trillion.
Reparations for the crime of slavery and its legacy have long been a subject of national debate.
I don't think reparations for something that happened 150 years ago for whom none of us currently living are responsible is a good idea.
And I think they're using what academics would call the theory of distance, that something is too far in the past to have contemporary application.
So it's easy to see why Congress has yet to pass H.R. 40, a bill that was proposed all the way back in 1989. It would set up a commission to study and consider a national apology and proposal for reparations for the institution of slavery and its subsequent racial and economic discrimination against African Americans. And while you cannot place a monetary value on slavery and its lasting effects, there's a precedent of reparations programs compensating victimized communities directly. Back in the US, the Civil Liberties Act of 1988 designated $20,000 payments to Japanese Americans who survived internment camps during World War II.
The U.S. government has also made payments in instances where it was not the culpable party. Payments made to families that lost loved ones during the course of the 9/11 attacks, as well as payments that are being made to individuals who were held hostage in Iran at the end of the Carter presidency.
Up to $4.4 million per hostage or their estates. In the case of slavery, the US government did promise reparations. It's just reneged on it. In fact, when the US finally issued an apology for slavery, it included the disclaimer, "Nothing in this resolution authorizes or supports any claim against the United States or serves as a settlement of any claim against the United States." Nor did the US ever provide true reparations, a process consisting of three things.
Suddenly, you left me alone by myself.
What up, Nigeria? What up, Africa, my people? How y'all doing? Your boy Ajim Mazide here. Guys, before I even ride on, we gotta tell you something. It's Niger o'clock. If you check your time now, trust me, you're gonna see it is Niger time. And so guys, I'm so happy to welcome you guys back to this interesting channel where there's always great news and positive news about Africa, and most importantly, those great achievements that Nigeria is always bringing to Africa. Nigeria has done it again. If you see my face, no say something this up. So Nigeria has done it again. This one now, I see Nigeria getting to the level. In fact, I see Nigeria as the only problem where America and Europe have in Africa, because Nigeria is only doing what they don't want Nigeria to do. Nigeria keeps doing what these Americans and Europeans don't want Africa to do, because Nigeria keeps going towards production, industrialization. Everything is just growing. Yes, the shocking news is that Nigeria just became the first African country to build a humanoid. A 6-foot humanoid named Omefe. This is kind of like a Yoruba name or Igbo. Guys, I'm sorry if my pronunciation is not the best. You can correct me. Omefe, that's the name of this humanoid. They built it in Nigeria and gave it a name. In fact, it was built in Abuja, Nigeria, and by a Nigerian company called Unicorn, like I said. Now this is where it gets interesting. Pay attention very, very clearly. That's why I said this is different from a toy that people buy for their children. No, this is not a toy. This is not a paku toy where parents buy to their kids. No, this is something deeper and different. because of the following. Now pay attention. So the humanoid can speak and switch between 9 languages. The humanoid, this thing you're seeing now, it can speak and switch between languages, and we are talking about 9 different languages. It's not just speaking and switching between languages, but the humanoid can make hand gestures. For those of you who have traveled to bigger airports in America, in some strategic airports in the world, you have these robotic things in the airport now that give direction. Welcome, take direction, go left, this, go here. This is what is happening here. That's AI. I told you people, artificial intelligence, Nigeria, give it up to these people. You can never joke with them. You can never play with them. Because this thing now can stand at the airport or at a place where you need human direction. It will speak all the languages. It's like Siri. It will tell you, you can come to it and say, hello, I speak English. It will automatically speak to you in English. You can come and say, hello, je parle français. It will speak to you in French. You will ask your question. It will give you directives, tell you what you are looking for, answer you, interact with you like a human being, show you direction, say go left, go right. It will show you all the directions. They have Arabic, they have Swahili. Hello, do we have some West Africans in the building? Nigeria don't build robots we go speak Swahili. Me say but they are still the plan to learn Swahili. Swahili is gonna be the African language. If you are smart now, start learning Swahili. Because Swahili will eventually become the African language. Yep.
The answer to that question I asked earlier, little quiz earlier, is that South Africa is the country that has the most Rastas. South Africa had about 3 million Rastas of different faiths in 2020. This is an approximate number, but gotten from reliable sources. And yes, South Africa is a country that has the most Rastas in the world, and 3 million is as much as the entire population of Jamaica, or even a little more than the population of Jamaica. Okay, for now, I'll see you in the next video.
Suddenly, you left me alone by myself.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.